everyone, I'm Yvonne. Thanks for joining us on TaiwanPlus. The government says a first round of trade talks focused on Donald Trump's tariff policy has wrapped up in Washington. The Trump administration last month announced a 32% tariff on Taiwanese goods, but he later put a 90-day pause on all new tariffs except those aimed at China. Deputy Premier Zheng Lijun and trade negotiator Yang Zhenni have been in the U.S. to start working out a tariff deal. The government's Office of Trade Negotiations says it's hopeful for a mutually beneficial solution. Taiwanese entrepreneurs are banding together to share tips about investing overseas, an urgent issue, they say, amid a shifting global economy. At an event hosted by Taiwanese alumni of the University of Michigan, executives shared their experiences in countries ranging from Vietnam to Thailand, Germany, and the United States. Taiwan is an export-reliant economy, and uncertainty caused by steep U.S. tariffs are forcing firms to rethink their strategies.
The biggest barrier is actually your mindset. Little by little, we do see the young generations, they're not kind of willing or so willing to be kind of tied down to a kind of office job. So some of them are going into the startup sector. So I think we do find some great momentum there.
A lot of businesses in Taiwan are small business, right? So they are mid-small-sized business. The existing model that has been kind of running in the past 20, 30 years served them well. And so they have no motivation to go out and kind of expand. I think with the recent changes, I think people might change their philosophy, might make them think harder.
In response to pending U.S. tariffs, Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te has also stressed the need for firms to diversify their markets. A Christian group in Taiwan is walking 41 kilometers from Taoyuan to Taipei in solidarity with Palestine. Organizers say the march equals the length of Gaza's Mediterranean coast and mirrors Palestinians evacuating from Israel's attacks on Hamas. The pilgrimage also aims to raise funds for humanitarian relief in Gaza. The group is calling for a ceasefire and the release of hostages held by Hamas. Israel broke its ceasefire with Hamas after negotiations between the two parties stalled last month. 8 groups are warning of mass starvation as Israel's blockade of aid to Gaza reaches its 3rd month. The Philippines is investigating an alleged Chinese spy caught with covert recording equipment ahead of midterm elections there. It's one of a growing number of espionage cases involving Chinese nationals in the Philippines. Rick Glauber reports from the Philippines on the regional battle against Chinese influence.
This is Grande Island in the Philippines. It's 100 acres of tropical paradise and home to a holiday resort leased to a company with Chinese investors. It's also strategically located at the mouth of Subic Bay, a key naval port on the Philippines' west coast. Just over a month ago, 6 Chinese nationals were arrested on Grande, charged with espionage, kidnapping and illegal detention.
If in the wrong hands and for wrong purposes, it could play a very significant role in just monitoring the security in this entire area.
Now, the Philippines Defense Department could take over the island. It's deemed a national security concern as tensions mount with Beijing over rival claims to territory in the nearby South China Sea. It's from ports here at Subic Bay that Philippine Navy sail out to challenge and ward off Chinese vessels that have entered Philippine waters. But the case of Grande Island shows that the struggle with Beijing is not just taking place out at sea. According to Philippine authorities, Chinese espionage is on the rise across the country. They say Beijing is gathering intelligence, spreading fake news and influencing local leaders, hoping to undermine trust in Philippine institutions and paint itself as the victim.
Some of the Filipino people are just jittery, some are alarmed, but many are worried. That's why we also go on an offensive to reassure the Filipino people, the public, that we're not here to wage war, but we're simply pushing back.
A few hundred kilometers north, across the Luzon Strait, Taiwan, which China claims as its territory, faces a similar battle for public opinion. There, for the first time, President Lai Ching-te has labelled China a hostile foreign force, calling on Taiwanese to expose Chinese collaborators and warning about fake news being spread by Beijing.
面对日益严峻的威胁，政府不会停止努力，全力确保国家主权不受侵害，确保2300万人民的自由、民主和生活方式永续如常。但只凭政府的力量尚有不足，我们更需要全体国民的共同警觉和行动。
The Philippines too knows that its people are the first line of defence. Schools here launching media literacy classes and officials encouraging the public to report suspicious activity. It was local fishers who found this submersible reconnaissance drone, suspected of sending information to China.
The antenna is now above the surface. It could receive, process, transmit data through satellite communications.
In the seas near the Philippines and Taiwan, China has increasingly made its presence known, asserting its claims of sovereignty by boosting the number of boats and planes it sends into these disputed waters. And just as Beijing is trying to control territory, it's also trying to control the narrative. Though there are signs that Beijing's information war is bearing little fruit, opinions in this region are hardening against China. People wary of an external threat not only to their country's territory, but also to their way of life. Fu Hua Hong, David Santos and Rick Lowert in Subic Bay for TaiwanPlus.
In London, protesters including Hong Kongers, Tibetans and Uyghurs have held a demonstration against the proposed Chinese mega embassy. China is planning to move its embassy to a massive complex that would be Beijing's largest diplomatic facility in the world. Opponents say China could use the complex to monitor and harass dissidents living abroad. It's the second large protest in 5 weeks against the mega embassy plans. It also comes as British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is seeking more engagement with Beijing following years of strained relations. At least 2 people are dead, including a 5-year-old girl, after an SUV crashed into a crowd of people near the entrance to Manila's international airport. Several other people were injured. Authorities say CCTV footage suggests the crash may not have been intentional. The driver of the SUV was seen dropping off and helping a passenger with luggage shortly before the crash. Authorities added that the driver will undergo drug testing. Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has secured a historic second term, pulling off a major comeback in an election fueled by backlash against US President Donald Trump.
And our government will choose the Australian way because we are proud of who we are and all that we have built together in this country. We do not need to beg or borrow or copy from anywhere else.
Current projections show Albanese's Labour Party securing a comfortable majority. The Conservative Liberal Party leader Peter Dutton, who has been dogged by comparisons to Trump, lost his own parliamentary seat in the state of Queensland. It's the first time in Australian history that a federal opposition leader has been unseated in a general election. One of East Asia's largest religious pilgrimages has reached its turnaround point in southern Taiwan. For the village of Beigang, an event meant to spread divine blessings is temporarily bringing young people back to an otherwise aging community. Bryn Thomas has more.
Every spring, hundreds of thousands of pilgrims arrive in this part of Yunlin, waking up its sleepy streets. Like many communities in this part of Taiwan, Beigang has seen many of its young people leave over the last few generations. These streets that you see behind me are usually empty, apart from a few elderly people.
当然很兴奋啦，因为其实我以前都嘛是走中途而已，然后今年是第一次从巴沙屯走到北港，对，蛮有挑战自己的，蛮有挑战性的。
因为马祖的灵验，我亲身就感到马祖救我好多次，所以我虽然快80岁了，我就是只能够有这个机会，就是为马祖服务，就跟他走一走。
After 2 days and 2 nights of walking, this year's Baishaten Mazu pilgrimage has arrived at Chaotian Temple in Beigang. Now, upwards of 600,000 people are thought to be here right now. In 2010, this event only attracted about 5,000 registered walkers. Last year, it was up to 180,000. At the beginning of April this year alone, it was at 200,000. Many of the people joining the event are young people.
I think because maybe in your life you have some trouble or something problem you want to pray, and then maybe I think the Mazu will give us like the belief to understand what we're gonna do next and give it our some direction.
Mazu, the goddess of the sea, is Taiwan's most worshipped folk deity. Following her is believed to spread her blessings. For Beigang, the brief return of young people and tourism dollars are added benefits.
这种怎么讲？好，就觉得很感动啊！对，年轻人能跟着老一代的这样再传承下去，真的，很快乐啦。
As Mazu's followers begin their journey back north, this community will once again quiet down. But residents here can rest assured that with more and more young people joining the pilgrimage, their traditions are sure to endure. Ryan Wu and Bryn Thomas in Yunlin County for TaiwanPlus.
A city in northeastern India, known as the most polluted in the world, lives in a state of constant crisis. Air pollution is so high it causes skin rashes and sends children to the hospital. Zalan Shata reports.
2-year-old Samaya Ansari has just come off oxygen support. Now, she's playing with her brother. A bright moment in a place where the haze never lifts. They live in Bernihat in northeast India, the most polluted place on earth, where even the walls turn black.
She faces difficulty in breathing, congested chest, and coughing, among other issues. It has been happening for the last 8 to 9 months, almost a year, but it has aggravated recently.
With tens of thousands living in the thick pollution, many more people are at risk. Vehicle emissions are high here, and the town is home to around 80 industries, including distilleries, steel plants, and cement factories. Bernihat also sits between the states of Assam and Meghalaya, and its bowl-shaped terrain traps the air. It gets so toxic here that it causes skin rashes and burns the eyes. In the health clinics, coughing adults and children line up for help.
In most of the cases that we see here, be it adult or in pediatric section, we see most like 90% of the cases will fall in cough and cold. So in OPD, and likewise, the total number of cases will fall towards respiratory problems.
If a child does not respond adequately, requires multiple hospital admissions, requires administration of oxygen or even ventilation for that matter. So these are a group of children who are at risk to develop long-term lung damage, so which can eventually cause multi-organ dysfunction when they grow up and become adults.
India has bypassed many environmental safeguards in the name of economic growth. And in Bernihat, the smoke lingers everywhere. Pollution here is 25 times higher than what experts consider safe. It's so bad, people can't even dry their laundry outside or grow a garden.
Everything in the surrounding area has turned black. Earlier, there was just one factory nearby, but because of the new factory, we are unable to grow anything like betel nut or leaves. We cannot even stay indoors.
But following a stark warning from a Swiss air quality watchdog, change might finally come. The state governments of Assam and Meghalaya have agreed to collaborate, forming a joint committee to tackle Bernihat's pollution, a move that many hope will clear the air and put a stop to the health crisis. Isan Chen and Zalan Shata for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Before we go, check out a new fox sculpture installation by Japanese artist Fujiko Nakaya in Berlin. I'm Yvonne Yang. Take care, and I'll see you next time.